design is often the difference between a play looking amazing and a play looking cheap or boring. A good set design can make a bad play far more interesting, whereas a bad set design can make a brilliant play seem far, far worse. A set can cost millions of pounds, but with some good ideas and some creativity, you can create some really, really effective set designs that can really, really complement a play. So, let's look at some of the things that we need to consider when we're designing a set. Firstly, we have to know how the theatre will be laid out. Is the stage going to be end-on, meaning that the audience is sat on one side? Traverse, which means the audience is sat on two sides. Thrust, when the audience is sat on three sides. Or in the round, when the audience is sat on four sides, or in a circle surrounding the stage. With most staging types, you have to think about what the audience can see. There's no point in putting a lorry in the middle of an in-the-round stage, because it will block half of what the audience can see for the entire play. With an end-on or a thrust stage, you have the luxury of having a back wall, which can be used to create place. If the wall is white, it can be projected onto, which is known as a cyclorama. But if a large piece of wood, paper or fabric has an image printed or drawn onto it, this is known as a backdrop. This is often used to show skylines, countryside or the sky itself, giving depth to the overall set. Then we have the elements we use on stage. Sometimes a play builds a static set, which is a complex structure built on the stage that cannot be changed during the performance. These tend to be ambitious structures with lots of levels built into them to create height. In our theatre, we have lots of Seco platforms that can be used in all sorts of combinations, but these would remain the same throughout a performance because they take so long to build. If we don't want a static set, and we want to change location within a play, then what we need is a flexible set. And if that's the case, we've got to think about how do items get on and off the stage, and there are many ways that that can happen. Sometimes we use stage flats, which are large pieces of painted wood that can be brought onto the stage to create scenery for a small area of the stage. Large items such as furniture or anything that sits on the floor can be brought on using a wheeled platform that we call a truck. Items can also be hung from the ceiling from a fly rail, which is a long metal pole hanging horizontally from the ceiling that can be raised or lowered. This is great for signs, chandeliers, tree branches, or even an entire backdrop. Smaller items can be brought onto the stage by the actors themselves. Anything that the actors pick up and use are known as props, and sometimes a show has so many of these that it's someone's job to keep track of them all. They're known as the props master or props mistress. Now, let's recap. A painted background is known as a backdrop. A white wall that can be projected onto is known as a cyclorama. A large piece of painted wood is known as a stage flat. A wheeled platform that we use to get heavy items on stage is called a truck. Items can be hung from the ceiling on a fly rail. And anything that the actors carry on stage and use is a prop. A set designer's job is to plan, create and design every item that a play needs. This can be a complex job. So if you're interested in set design, are you up for all of the challenges?